because we had many people interested in the meeting, but it seems more people are interested in the recording. So all of you are stars at this point. You don't know how many people you're going to reach with your good ideas today. Hello, Annabelle.
Hi. I made it this time. I'm the incoming VPE for Heart to Heart.
Heart to Heart.
Michael Ann was here last week, and she's not going to be able to make it. Maybe this today.
Okay.
She's my mentor.
So as the incoming VPE, but this is Heart to Heart. You meet once a month?
Yeah.
Okay. So you probably haven't had any challenges yet, have you?
Not yet. I was able to review and approve some levels for a couple people, so that was exciting.
Ooh. Well, it is exciting. Now, you approve them in Pathways, and then admitted in the Club Central?
And then we did Club Central. I know I heard that part when I watched the replay from last week. I saw how you, or I heard how you explained that you want to ask them if they want to use, if they're a member in more than one club, where they want to put those points. So
right, yeah, that's going to be very important for you at Heart to Heart.
Yeah.
So good, you're on top of it.
Yeah, I have a good teacher, mentor in Michael Ann.
Well, I hope she can join us because we can use as many excellent mentors as we can find today.
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming this is Jim Bergdahl, but I don't want to just go out on a limb.
You're muted.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
I'm Bergdahl from the Pleasanton Dublin Hacienda Park Toastmasters Club.
Hacienda Park, I remember, well, when I was division governor, Hacienda Park was one of my clubs with, oh, she's my friend on Facebook. I'm sure she's still there.
You have a friend? You have a friend, Dennis?
Well, no, I have acquaintances who tolerate me.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
Hello, Chie. One of my favorite nieces is named Chie.
Is that so?
Yes.
Hello.
And which club are you from?
East Bay Toastmasters in Oakland.
Excellent. Excellent. We're representing from all over the district.
Mm-hmm.
Wing, are you a PE this year?
I was just talking to my the current VPE, and I was hoping he reminds me. The email I forward to him says that is on Tuesday. So here I am. I am the now club president of my home club.
Oh, excellent. So you'll be able to pitch in. Hello, Leslie.
Hello.
Hi. And which club are you representing?
I'm with Toastronic in Santa Rosa.
Toastronic. How is Toastronic doing?
Ask Donica. She's got 2 thumbs up.
Yeah. She's going wild.
Toastronic's doing great.
Excellent to hear. Yeah, I'll be sad if everybody's got great clubs that are just doing great, because part of this, of course, is to share ideas about how to make our good clubs even better and take them to that next level. Hi, Karishma.
Hi, I am extremely new, so no, not experienced. I will take any ideas from the experienced people here.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you're not experienced, you have to leave because.
Oh, really?
We don't want you to find out how dumb we all are.
We don't want you to know how easy it is.
Oh, I believe it. I used to carefully follow our previous VPE, see the things she was doing. She was great.
Oh, well, you're lucky you've got a good role model and you can still go to her with your questions.
Sorry, say that again?
You can go to her with your questions. She's there.
Oh,
to
yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's really good. The handoff from one VPE to the next VPE is extremely important. And
Yeah.
when do you start looking for the person who's going to replace you?
We
Yes,
We-
Leslie knows. This is when you start looking for your replacement. Look for somebody who you think would be good at the job and start saying, hey, you look like you'd be a great vice president of education. I've got this little task. Could you help me with this little task? And you let them help you with the little tasks and they see how easy it is. And then when it comes time to move on, you've got somebody to replace you. The problem is if you're really good at being a vice president of education and you don't train someone else to do it, guess who gets to be the vice president of education forever? Forever. Yeah, I've been in Toastmasters 13 years and pretty much all of them have been spent as a vice president of education. Now, I have slighted Dennis Mangan. That's mostly because, of course, I don't want people to think I'm playing favorites here. Which club are you? NLTM, let me see. I bet the TM is Toastmasters North Labrador.
That's right. The new lappers. No, it's called Next Level Toastmasters in Santa Rosa. Yeah, we meet once a month. Third Saturday of the month, and we meet for about 3 hours.
Yes, and you've got a number of illustrious members that all achieving their educational awards.
Yeah, they are very they definitely stand out as bright shining stars. Yes.
Great.
I'm very close to visiting you. I've come this close a couple of times, but I will get into one of your meetings rather soon.
Yeah, if we can give you directions even how to get here, but with pandemics, we can. It's even easier to visit with us now.
I've been visiting clubs all over the world. This is the
Yeah.
time to do it.
Yeah, this is a good time to do it.
And Matthew, welcome back. Matt Socha.
Yes.
There we go.
How's my sound this time?
Good.
Because I know we had some trouble with that last time.
Oh, well, you sound great.
All right.
Yeah.
You got a voice for radio, that's for sure.
I drink a lot of coffee.
And Donica, I know I kind of waved at you, but would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Donica Hopkins. I belong to two clubs, Toasttronic and Santa Rosa Club 182. I am helping support them by being the VPP this year.
Great.
Fantastic. All right. So here's my message of the week to kind of kick things off. I would like everybody to know that I'm not special.
Okay.
Now, the instant somebody says he's not special, of course, that means he's special, doesn't it? Yeah. I just completed my second Distinguished Toastmaster Award. At the same time, I completed the Presentation Mastery Path. This past year, I earned 12 educational awards, which makes me at the top of the heap in District 101. So around here, I'm just the cock of the walk, walking around. Look at all the educational awards I have got. This versus District 57, where Gary Wong this year earned 25 educational awards. I think it was Winnie Ma got 19 educational awards. So what do I mean when I say I'm not special? I mean that we tend to get into this mindset that it is difficult and it takes a long time to complete a path. In the past, it takes a long time to complete the CC manual, and you'll be working at that for a couple of years. I earned my first CC in 6 months. And the only difference between me and other people is that I don't schedule my speech and then write the speech. As soon as I complete a speech, I write the next one. And then if there's a speaking slot available, I take it. Another thing I do is visit other clubs. If they have a speaking slot, I take it. Now, I don't schedule myself in for these other speeches. And at my own clubs, I don't schedule myself in either. These awards that I mentioned last year, 2/3 of the speeches were unscheduled. I just took a slot because someone backed out. Now, I'm not special, but all of you are. Everybody on this call. And so I would like for you to be that role model in your clubs. If you find that it's difficult to get people to step up and accept speaking roles, take them. Jump in there. Make it available to everybody. Be sure they know that you're not trying to hog the stage, but don't leave the stage empty. And never let people give speeches that aren't based on a pathways lesson. We always want to be sure that anybody who's using that very valuable speech slot is putting it toward an educational award. That's important because every time we do a pathways lesson, we're demonstrating how the curriculum works. They see a prepared speech with an excellent evaluation based on the special criteria for that particular lesson. And that's how the educational program keeps rolling. And when your members see you getting up there and working the lessons this way, it's going to encourage them to do it. Now, in my clubs, they were encouraged to get up and speak because they couldn't stand the idea of me getting up in front of them again. And that's perfectly all right to annoy the hell out of your clubs by giving well-prepared speeches. So if you have to be that annoyance, I encourage you to do it. But I can't stress this enough. Work the program, get other people in your club to follow your lead and work the program. Every officer in your club should make a point of signing up on a regular basis to give speeches, sign up as Toastmaster, sign up as evaluator. And if they're not signing up themselves as the Vice President of Education, what can you do about that?
Sign them up.
Sign them up. Sign them up. Now, I don't know about you, but for a long time in my clubs, we would have a schedule off 3-4 weeks in advance. And as we came close to the meeting, I'd have to scramble to fill up the roles. So I stopped doing that. I now fill all the roles 3 to 4 weeks in advance. Now you'd think people would get upset. Who is this guy, this tin pot dictator? What's he trying to do? Why is he taking over the club this way? And I was ready to react to that. But actually, everybody realized it's no different than scrambling at the last minute to fill the schedule for this particular week. So by doing it 3 to 4 weeks in advance and being sure that I balance it so everybody gets a chance to speak, a chance to evaluate, a chance to do the functionary roles, and occasionally a meeting off so that they don't have to do anything at all. As long as I'm making it fair and they can see that, in both of the clubs where I was Vice President of Education, they were completely okay with it. So give it a try. Be sure that everyone has the opportunity. Be sure that everybody is earning their educational awards this year. That success is going to breed on success, and that's how you get the club into that strong educational position that it ought to be. Thus endeth the sermon. Yeah, Larry.
So there's been a couple of times that I've tried that in our club, Capital Speakers in Benicia. But normally what we do is we bring it before the officers, and the officers say, yes, that's what we should do. Then we bring it to vote in front of the members, and the members say, no, we're not going to do that. We don't just go ahead and do it. We vote for the officers and then vote at the club. And the club's always voted it down.
Interesting.
So to counteract that, what I did
go ahead.
was I created a contest, and it was filling all the roles. completely once and then completely, again. And we had, plus extra points if you sign up early and that sort of thing. And so then we had, first place was your Toastmaster dues paid and the club dues paid. Second prize was the Toastmaster dues paid. Third prize was the club dues paid. And if there was a tie, then they both got the prize. And that really helped on the sign up. People were really into it until, it goes a couple of months, and then if they see a couple of people really going for it, then they kind of drop out. But it definitely increased my, signing up for roles ahead of time.
Who else has an interesting idea for how to get people to sign up for roles? Yeah, Krishma.
So I did this for the first meeting that we will have on coming Thursday with me as the VPE. So I looked up the website, the club website, and there is a section where you can actually see the role tally, which tells you which person played which role how many times in a given span of time. And I actually used that for my first meeting, looking at records for the past 1 year. And if I saw like somebody was not a general evaluator for the entire year even once, then I put their name down. Or if somebody did not do a timer role for like the whole year at all, then I put them down. Versus like, there are people who've done it like once, twice, or maybe even 5 times in the last year, but there are people who've never done that role in the last year. So I just used that to kind of assign the roles and then, have them confirm it so I know that they're going to be there.
Did you use free Toast for that to run the reports?
No. So when you go to the meeting agenda, I can respond to this with a screenshot. There is a people icon on the top right that runs different reports. So if you click that, then it tells you, do you want to see roll tally or attendance, member attendance, or stuff like that. There are different options. And so you can choose the roll tally and put in the start date, whatever time frame you want, and it would give you the result.
What's the software?
Is that in the Toastmasters website?
That was the El Cerrito Toastmaster website, yes.
So you had your own?
Yes, the club Toastmaster. And if later we have time, it's really quick. I could just share my screen and show you guys.
Oh, sure, please do.
You want to do it right now?
I just looked really quickly. It's free toast.
Let me
Free
just do...
toast? Is that like for everybody, or is that just her?
No, anybody can get.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So our website is on the free toast host, if that's what you were asking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I haven't heard of that.
I assume that all clubs have their website on that.
Well, you
Not all.
assume everybody, many people do, most good clubs do, but some just have never heard of Free Toast Host. And that's not what it's called anymore, is it?
It's the platform.
FTH, yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Go ahead and call up your window. I'm going to call up a
1507 toastmastersclubs.org. It runs on the free toast host backend.
Say that again?
1507.toastmastersclubs.org, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
There you go. So there it is. Yep.
Yeah, so this is for El Cerrito. So if I just log in.
The backend is called free toast host.
Oh, what did happen here?
Oh, yeah, it's toastmastersclubs.org is the new name that you see publicly.
I believe somebody just changed our admin password, so I can't show you. I think the new members changed the password. Let me check on that. And I will get back to you.
You had us so excited.
I know. I'm like, what happened here? I'm sorry. Let me follow up as we talk real quick.
We're starting to use that just now too. I'm just starting to get into that.
How long has it been around?
If any one of you have that website and you can share your screen, I can see if we can navigate to that.
I've been doing this with Excel spreadsheets. Basically, I make a 2-month schedule. Actually, I make 2 2-month schedules. I make the one where I balance out who's ever been a Toastmaster, who's been an evaluator. Is this person coming along? Can I move them into a more advanced role? And then the other one is the one that's all in red when everybody cancels and switches roles around when you finally get to the meeting. So then I use that one to tell me who's actually been a Toastmaster somewhere and who's actually been an evaluator, and sort of work it from there. So they get their education one way or another.
Yeah, now I tried Easy Speak, which again is very feature rich, but I find it to be cumbersome to work with. I haven't tried scheduling in Free Toast Host. I'll have to give that a look. What I use in my clubs are these Google Sheets. Now these are open to everybody. They can go in and edit them. I've got everybody's name in here so that awesome.
If somebody tried to show me something like this, there's some kind of membership involved. You got to get involved or put a password in or something. I never did figure it out.
Well, I just have this open to everybody. It could happen that Nazis could come in here and write horrible slurs all over my webpage. And if they do, I'll copy and paste it and it'll be fixed. But I haven't had any problem with somebody going in and absolutely trashing the thing. I do have a role tracker, which keeps track of every time anybody does any role, but in particular counts up the number of speaking roles and evaluator roles that they've completed to be sure that everybody is getting an equal mix. And the newest thing I'm all happy about, I can click the Generate Agenda button. It will take the names out of my spreadsheet and put them into the agenda template for me. This is something I knocked out. If you would like some help with something like this, I'm happy to do it. Again, Easy Speak does all of these things, but Easy Speak relies on the members to go in and sign themselves up properly for their speeches. And that's where the breakdown comes. It's hard to get them to put their names in here, let alone all of the speech information. Yeah, Larry?
It also, we use Easy Speak both in Netizens, my online club, and Capital Speakers in Benicia. We do use Easy Speak, and actually there's a button there that you can push and it will automatically assign people, and it keeps track of, okay, this is a new member, so therefore that new member is not going to be assigned being a Toastmaster until, you know, they've been there, they've done 3 whatevers. And so it's got a lot in the background. The only problem with Easy Speak is sometimes it goes squirrely. And number 2 is the guy that owns it, if he dislikes you, he'll take you off the system. And you lose all your data that you've collected over 4 or 5 years, because he did that with Netizens.
Wow.
I have my free toast that I can share on the screen.
Thank you. Please do.
Yeah.
I see it on the screen.
Dennis, I don't think I have. Oh, I can do the share screen. May I
This
do
is
that?
actually the free toast host for Toasttronic.
Yes, but I have the part where
Who's sharing Toasttronic?
Donica.
Oh, you were? Okay.
I was, but
Yep, that's fine if you want to show us, and then we'll let Chia show hers.
well, so
That's fine.
this is Chia, and so I think what I'm sorry, what was your name? You were Karishma. So this is for a meeting in the future for August 3rd, and we don't have anybody signed up yet. Actually, in our club, we encourage people to go ahead and sign themselves up.
Yeah.
But when they can't, the Toastmaster or VP of Ed can do that. And so if you just, here we are, general evaluator, and then I have the entire club here. And Aki's been around for a while, so he's signed up for this 32 past signups, and it even tells you when he last took the role. We have a number of new members who haven't worked up to being a general evaluator yet, and so that's showing up here. But these are all people that are on the members list. And they all have access to the website. When they sign in as themselves, they can sign themselves up for a role. And typically what I do at, so I'm just gonna close this out, is I like this feature. It's the print multiple meeting sign up sheet.
Yep.
And so you can sign up to, you can show up to 5. Is this showing up on?
Yes.
Okay. So I usually just print out a PDF because this kind of gives you a rundown. And at the end of the meeting, the president usually invites the VP of E to share this up on the screen, and Zoom's been great because, you know, instead of passing around the sheet, you could just share it on the screen, and pretty much we try and fill it up. So just last night we had a meeting, and next week we're having a special educational workshop. So it looks, we just filled up all the roles. Typically, what we like to do is to just sign up the Toastmaster for 3-4 weeks ahead of time. They're the ones who set up the theme, and we make the Toastmaster equally responsible for, they are the MC, they control the meeting. And so in addition, well, that being said, we have speakers that are signed up in advance. And that's something that we encourage people to do. And so far, a lot of the folks have been signing themselves up way in advance. And if they don't, they basically lose out on being able to speak. But the Toastmaster is the one who encourages people to sign up as word master, timer, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my share.
Yeah.
One important thing that you pointed out is it's a really good practice at the end of your meeting to talk about the roles for the coming week. Something that one of my clubs was really good about that, the other two weren't. And when I instituted that in my other clubs, suddenly things got a lot better. Nobody's saying, oh my God, I have to speak this week, 2 days before the meeting. Larry, you want to say something?
Yes, about the signing up at the end of the meeting. 2 things. One, I think it's embarrassing if someone is, either the president or VPE is standing up front saying, all right, who wants to be the Toastmaster next week? Who wants to be the Toastmaster next week? And your guests are sitting there saying, what the heck is going on? And you finally get one person to say, okay, I'll be the Toastmaster. So that's one thing. I think it's embarrassing to have guests sit there while you're trying to coerce people to sign up for next week. And the other thing is, okay, I didn't go to the meeting this week. Now they're going to sign people up at the end. And so next week, you know, I'm kind of tired tonight, and, you know, I didn't sign up for anything, and, you know, so I don't think I'll go tonight either. Before you know it, you lose a member. So that's the pros and cons of it, really.
Well,
And I totally agree. We used to have that sort of situation, and it was pointed out that we should rethink how we do that, and that's why we try and sign the Toastmasters ahead of time. At least we have a Toastmaster and the speakers are signed up, and then somehow that it's just changed the energy of people signing up.
And so the Toastmasters really got busy and got
What it
filled
is,
up the roles.
maybe because we had an influx of younger people, they're just not as shy with signing up by themselves online. So
Right.
There's one thing I want to clarify though, Larry. We don't say who wants to be Toastmaster next week. We go through the roster that has been assigned and we verify the roles for next week. So the Toastmaster, all the roles were already filled. We just sort of remind people that they're signed up for it. And if they know that they can't make it, then we fill them on the spot.
Right.
If it happens they're not in the meeting, we follow up offline. One of the things about one of my clubs in particular is that we always put it on the Toastmaster of the week to be responsible for filling the roles and getting to people all week. I stopped that in my clubs. As vice president of education, I'm the one who does the agenda every week. I'm the one who fills all the roles every week. That way you don't have to teach a new person every week where the templates are and how they're supposed to do their job. And you can have an education committee that helps with that task. But I find it puts a huge burden on somebody if they're Toastmaster of the week. They've never done it before. They don't know where the forms are. They don't have the mailing addresses of all the people in the club. It's just a lot easier for me to do those things myself.
Well, the Free Toast Host program does all of that. It prints out the agenda and you could just mail it out from that. I think what we started out doing was that recognizing that to be a Toastmaster is the master of ceremonies and you're basically putting on an event. And so to be in that role, you have to learn to do all those things. It's part of the training. And so far, aside from some glitches, it's worked out. It's been working out okay, I think. It's another, because it used to be that, you know, the Toastmaster would just sort of sail in and everything was set up for them. And so, you know, they get to be the Toastmaster. But in real life, if you're putting on an event, you want to make sure that you control a lot of the aspects and maybe even plan who your guests are going to be, your speakers are going to be, what the theme is. So it's all part of a package. But the truth is that when we had, I think maybe in our club several years ago, it was the president who was printing out and preparing the agenda every week. And it just became such a huge burnout for, and yeah, it just wasn't sustainable. So, doesn't have to be that way, but that's the solution that we found.
I think that worked well. Annabelle, you keep looking like you want to say something. Am I ignoring you? You're fine. Okay.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm agreeing with Chai.
It's Chia.
Chia, sorry. That, yeah, I can see my previous VP just was burned out on the agenda making. It was just a time-consuming job. But I can see with this free toast host, that's going to make it easier. But we're slowly transitioning into it. That's all I had to say.
We actually at my community club have someone dedicated to do the scheduling who's been doing it for 5 or 6 years, separate from the VPE.
Oh, that's nice.
But she's not very computer literate, so she's not using Free Toast Host. She's doing it on an Excel spreadsheet.
Good. We're seeing a lot of different ways of doing essentially the same thing. And there's no right or wrong way of doing it as long as it works for your club. Karishma, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I had 2 things. One thing was I could share my screen now.
Okay.
And show you guys what I was talking about. Similar to what Chia was talking about. So let me know if you guys see the screen.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is where this little people, human thing where it says meeting report is what we use. And if you go there, you have these different reports. So how many times a member has given a speech, their attendance, which is not always accurate because people don't update that, but roll report, and then roll tally is what I like to use. So if I just share with you real quick, say for a year, right, starting July, and I run the report, I may have to,
Yeah, you gotta switch screens.
yeah, I may have to switch screens. Can I switch screen directly? I have to stop and share.
Yeah, then you share the other one.
So you see here, so like if I have to go and I put a filter here, if I have to go a jokester or a general evaluator and I just say, okay, blanks. So these many people have never played the role of general evaluator in the last 1 year. And then if you see the drop down, you can see there are people who've played it once, twice, even 4 times. And so this kind of helps to get engagement in roles that people have not been engaged in, because there are certain people who have been engaged, who've been actively engaged, but probably they feel more comfortable in one role and than the other. And the idea is to kind of open up to everything. So this was what I used to kind of assign roles for the future meetings. And I'm gonna do what Chia was doing, kind of show this maybe in the future meetings so people know where I'm getting these numbers from, that I'm not making it up, and they feel comfortable with me assigning them the roles for this.
What does the number after the slash mean?
I don't know.
Some of them have a 1 and most of them are 0.
I don't really know.
Okay.
That's a good point. I just looked at the
This is Wing. I'm thinking that that is if you use the confirm, or is it there's a function under free toast host to confirm the role assignment at the end, attendance or something.
actually you're probably right.
I think that is it.
Because most people don't confirm the roles, and so it probably that's what it is. So yeah, that was what I wanted to show. And the other thing that I was gonna share, one of my ideas that I brought up to my group, kind of aligned with what Dennis, you were saying. You should start thinking of who's gonna be your successor now. I was talking, and I learned this in my previous training as VP PR. Like, we are VPs, which means we have to have a team. But I've never seen any officer have a team work with them dedicatedly. So I proposed to my officers, if we could set up a team of like one working with you, where you're the VP, but you're kind of managing the role together. You're distributing the tasks, and that way the other people in your team are getting trained and actually working on it, and they can figure out if they want to take up that role next year or not, kind of thing. And you also get the support. You don't get burned out. So that's another thing that I was going to bring up in our Thursday meeting, as if somebody wanted to be a part of my VPE team and help me with that.
Good. Good idea.
I'm just writing this down. Where is the web address for one of those things to get one of those forms?
I think
FTW.
TW?
FTW.
TW. TW.com.org.net.
Free toast host.
I think each club has their own URL, right?
Where is it?
If you look for free toast host, it will take you to toastmastersclubs.org.
Okay, so that's I could go to Google and type in free toast host.
Yeah. Or
Okay,
toastmastersclubs.org. One word.
I think you request a website for your club, right? And then they set it up and then you use it, if I understand that right.
I think so.
We had a rudimentary one. We're not using it. I'm kind of rescuing a club from a brink. I just moved into the area 2 years ago. We don't have a history. We have a very small number of people. And, I'm just kind of man-hauling this thing into place. I don't have functionality yet on my Toastmasters central control thing. apparently a lot of the things I'm supposed to have access to haven't been turned on yet. I've got some requests in. I'm doing everything by spreadsheet, by hand. I've been in Toastmasters for a while. So I'm trying to just keep this thing rolling and keep people moving forward, but I can't trace their progress. I only learned about some of the buttons that are in there from the last meeting. Somebody mentioned that and showed a picture of it. I went, oh, well, that's interesting. Haven't seen that before. So, you know, these are the things I'm putting into the requests for Toastmasters. Can you fix that button? Yes, Larry.
There's also, if everybody wants to know of another one, is WordPress for Toastmasters. WP4Toastmasters.com. And it does a lot of the same thing. But in that one there, you can actually have your own website domain name.
Okay.
Free Toast host, you actually are a sub domain under theirs.
Yeah. Now, prior to this, I worked in very remote areas for about 12 years. So I have this gap. So it looks like there's a lot of stuff that's happened since the last time I was in Toastmasters. So apparently you guys got multiple website options, better tracking. This didn't exist when I was last in. So I'm kind of playing catch up here with you guys.
Oh, everybody's playing catch up, Matthew. If you've never seen it, if you've just never come across it,
Never
it's
seen
new to everybody. Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to call this up so that people who watch the recording can see, yeah, it's toastmastersclub.org. And the first page tells you how to set it all up. And it's got all kinds of rich features. One of the nice things about Free Toast Host is the mailing list for your club, because you've got the officers list and the members list. And when you want to send something to the members, it's members and your club number at toastmasters.org, toastmastersclubs.org. So you've got a great, easy to remember mailing address for officers, for members, for guests going back. So there's all kinds of stuff to set up, and it takes some time to set it all up. But once you do, it's a pretty nice service. And of course, the charge is $0.
Okay. A question, I've been listening all along. I just took my video off, but I'm still here. And our club does use this same Free Toast Host platform. We call it our club website, Hacienda Park. But I question was the thing that I guess before Karishma shared her screen, that shared the screen with the example of one of the buttons that you're using there and in that program. I know I got the meeting agenda, like the one you can see with 5 meetings, up to 5 meetings in the future. But was there some other function there that was helpful in that program that somebody was exhibiting?
Are you talking about the sign-up sheet?
Yeah, in the signups.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the question was.
That's also on the Free Toast Host website. Is that right, Gia?
Right.
Yeah, it is. And actually, so here is the, so is this what you're referring to? The,
yeah, no, I got that one. Was there another one too? There was another thing that people were using on that website?
Did you see them when I shared about the meeting reports?
Meeting reports, yeah.
Yeah. With the little person symbol.
Uh-huh. And then you can use the print the meeting agenda, which is just easier to send out agenda to everybody.
Huh, let's see.
You see next to it, there's like a printer.
Okay, yeah, it's next to the print, never mind. Yep. Okay, member role report.
One of the things I like about the Free Toast Host is that it uses the Toastmasters branded materials. So this agenda, this looks like the Toastmasters brand agenda. That's nice.
So when there's they give you a choice of different agenda layouts. There's the standard, and then they have this new thing called the hybrid layout, which I think is kind of nice. It prints out a meeting agenda with all the officers on the left-hand side automatically, and then it keeps track of all the times, so that if you're assigning, if somebody comes up with a speech that's going to take more than the usual 5 to 7 minutes, it's a 12-minute speech or something, when you put it in, it automatically calculates it so that that, oh, maybe we don't have time for table topics today, or it's kind of handy in that respect. So this is another feature that I think is helpful in
one of the nice things
Free Toast Toast.
A lot of different clubs. I visited a club, and at the beginning of every meeting, they read out the club mission statement. And I saw there you love the club mission so much that you have it on the agenda twice, on the side and at the top. So somebody might want to look at that. But I actually had an issue in one of my clubs where the president said, well, we're not just an education organization. We are also a social club. And no, vice presidents of education, we are an educational organization. We specifically are not a social club where people come to chat and have a nice time. We do have a nice time. We have a lot of fun, and we do get to talk, and we make great friendships. But that's not the focus of our meetings. And we're not a service club like Rotary. We don't go out into the community and do projects for needy children or orphanages or anything along that line. We are an educational organization where we work on our public speaking and leadership skills. What's nice about that, you take those skills outside to all of those organizations we just talked about. Toastmasters become the leaders in those places because they've got the communication and leadership skills that enable them to actually achieve the goals of those organizations. There we go. Leslie and Dennis, we haven't heard from you. I'm going to start with Leslie. I shouldn't say both of you and let you fight it out. But what strikes you at the meeting so far, and what questions might you have, or solutions?
Actually, this has been really helpful. We started using, thanks to Donica, Free Toast Host about a year ago, maybe a bit longer now. And being VPE and having handed the reins over from the previous VPE, I figured just going in and honestly playing with the site is extremely helpful. You can't really break anything. So my recommendation would be to get out of your comfort zone, go in and just start clicking around on some buttons, and you can really learn a lot. And what I realized at today's meeting is I haven't clicked on all the buttons. So it's very helpful to see other people's examples and to also hear about how to get help with the signups and other options and ways to do that. I know previously I've been in this group for 4 years now, and I was Sergeant at Arms. And at the beginning, I mean, being a corporate club, to be honest, our Sergeant at Arms doesn't have a lot of extra responsibilities as a corporate club that many community clubs have. So I stepped up, and when I was Sergeant at Arms, I had taken on the role to make sure all of the members, the functionary roles, et cetera, were filled. And it was hard. It could be very painful at times. So it's stepping back into the role and now going, oh, it's VPE's job? Great. Okay, I'll do it again. But having all these ideas has been very helpful. So I've certainly been listening and paying attention, and I've taken some notes. So thank you for today.
And you just threw out another great idea. One of the things I love to tell secretaries, I love to do secretary training. They've got the smallest number of tasks that they have to perform, which means they've got more opportunity to have an impact on the club than anybody else, because they can slip in where other people either need help or some officers get distracted by their lives, I don't know, or their children or something, and they can't fulfill the roles the way they thought that they would be able to at the beginning of the year. That's when the sergeant at arms, the secretary, the treasurer, can step in and help out some of the other officers. As long as you've got good communication between the officers, they'll be able to step in and help fill those gaps. Dennis, your turn.
Yeah, this has been very interesting. I've been away from Toastmasters for a couple of years now, and the website and the agenda list and all this other kind of stuff was kind of new to me back then. And actually getting to help the club in that regard is going to be a lot of fun in a way. I like doing that kind of stuff. But I was looking for the button that says, I hereby resign as VPE because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. There's got to be a button there someplace for that one too. But no, I'm looking forward to getting involved in this. And this is actually helping me to really get my feet, boots on the ground. Yeah, it's helping me to get boots on the ground.
Yeah, I'm curious, how many people really knew what they were getting into the first time they signed up to be Vice President of Education? Matthew, you see how lonely you are? Oh, well, Karishma, you did because you had an excellent mentor. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I started this back in the 80s. So, I mean, I knew what the EVP did back in the olden days, and I'd helped out with different clubs I belonged to over the decades, where I'd be in a town and then be out of town and then be in a town. So I've been to multiple clubs in all parts of the country. So I've had my hand in all these different roles. This was a club that was in trouble, and I offered the help, and I've gotten really positive feedback from management, who's the company that's hosting it. So it's made them very happy to have people helping to train their workforce up. But it's been a real challenge. I don't have the functionality. Everything's online. I don't have the websites working. None of my buttons work, and I don't know how everything's set up. And so I can't explain to anybody else how it works because I have no experience with this. This didn't exist when I was in Toastmasters, and I came on board and I didn't replace anybody, so nobody's trained me up either, and none of my training tutorials worked. So, I'm just doing it with a spreadsheet and some basic knowledge, and keeping the ball rolling.
Yeah, I'm afraid that my story is a little more typical. I joined a corporate club that had never had a vice president of education. They said, "Oh, you do some training. Why don't you be the vice president of education?" Oh, okay, because I'm not very bright. And I went to TLI, the Toastmasters Leadership Institute, which is coming up on July 18th. I hope you're all going to attend. And I was just gobsmacked by how much work the Vice President of Education does. We do far more work than any other officer on a long-term basis, on a short-term basis. We've got all the planning, and then we've got the week-to-week nuts and bolts, making sure that the meeting is a success. So this is a tough role, and it's the toughest role you'll ever love, as we like to say. Larry.
Yes, Dennis, I'd like to share my screen with this other program.
Cool.
All right. This is called WordPress for Toastmasters. A guy named David Carr set this one up. I believe he's also associated with Free Toast Host. But this is, you can actually have this as your own domain name, and it's set up to do just about everything that all those other programs are doing. See, there's Toastmost. Actually, I think is that a different one? Let me see. Is that a different one than the other one? Let's see, where to go.
Free for 6 months, then $30 per year. That costs more than Free Toast Toast, Larry.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, it's that's another possibility of being automated. And that's the whole thing, is if you can get things automated, makes your life a lot easier. Like Dennis, your spreadsheets or Easy Speak is automated, Free Toast Host is automated. And because it's also important to save all the, like in the Easy Speak, you say, okay, I'm going to do the icebreaker in pathway presentation mastery. And so you can actually select that and it shows up on the agenda automatically. You don't have to figure it out and write it up or anything like that. So automation is great.
Yes. You also, you reminded me of one important thing. Because we are meeting online, we are not handing out ribbons and things the way we typically would. Point being that the finances of your club are probably not being utilized at all or very little right now. So one thing I would recommend is that you purchase pins for the pathways. So I started my presentation mastery. When somebody earns level 1, order them a pin. And you can order the flags that go with it. The flags, so you've got the pin and then it's a level 1 flag, level 2, 3, 4. When you complete the path, you switch that pin out for the proficient, which goes from silver to gold. Those pins are really, for me, it's a very motivating thing. I love to have the pins. I like the bling. And it's something that you can ship directly to somebody's home so that they're getting something tangible to mark their progress in Toastmasters. And you can look for other things along this line. Another thing to keep in mind, though, if your club isn't spending money, as we get to October, when you start talking about the club dues, you should have a meeting with your club officers to determine whether or not you have to charge those additional club dues. Because you don't want to be one of these clubs like one of mine that's got $3,000 in the bank. What are we going to do?
Don't let headquarters know that.
Oh, I know, because you all know if the club folds, that money goes away. It goes, well, to the district is what happens.
We're safe.
Yeah.
You're safe.
All the money that is sitting there in the bank and not being spent on members this year is what, going to be spent on some future Toastmaster who joins later and they get something really nice? No, you want to spend the money that your club has, and you should spend down to the minimum to maintain the account by the end of the dues period. And at the next dues period, collect enough money to pay for the ribbons and the pins and the things that you know you're going to use. But don't just gather money and have it sit there, because that doesn't do anybody any good. Okay. Well, we're
Recommending that. I just checked it out as we were talking on the shop because one of my club members completed level 1 on presentation mastery, and that would be really cool to like give her the pin and like, you know, the tag that says level 1. Thank you.
Well, I'm a little more techier. I created a certificate that says you achieved level 1 on such and such path, or level 2 on such and such path. And when when we were meeting in person, and I would present that certificate to the person.
well.
But now that we're online, I can still send it to them, but they have to print it out themselves.
Are you talking about the one that actually comes with the Pathways program, or one that you created separately?
One that I created separately.
Okay, well, in Pathways, there are these certificates for each level. At San Jose Toastmasters, we would print out the certificate. Everybody runs around the table, getting a high five from everybody in the club, waving their certificate. So really the award.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, but you know, since we can't do that online, everybody gets a round of applause, of course. And then we just show the award as a slide so that everybody gets to see the name and the whole thing. Then you email it to them.
Right.
Yeah. All good to see. You have to celebrate every victory.
Yep.
All right, my friends, thank you so much for coming tonight. We've used up another hour of your time, and we will be back here through the month of July. TLI is on July 18th. If you're busy that Saturday, then the next one will be August 15th. Easiest points to get for your Distinguished Club program are your officer training points. So you come and bring all of your officer friends with you. And I'll see you here 6:30 next week.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.